The people.
Excellent.
The people.
People.
No, you have to go say the people. People. Who are Egyptian. How about you, David?
The future.
The future.
Or masters.
The masters. Amana. Do you remember?
Right holder.
Huh?
The right holder.
Right holder. Oh, Libya. Foyhat. Benghazi. Okay.
All responsibility against
Afghanistan's in the bed.
Why we are here?
Why you? I'm asking you why you are. Allah العظيم. He's Kharababad, not Zindabad. Kharababad.
Amanda.
Amana.
ChatGPT.
Eh? Oh! Oh, what does that mean?
That's the AI, yeah.
AI? طيب AI انت. Future.
Community design.
Community development.
AI.
AI.
Emergencies.
Emergencies.
Our communities.
Community. Allahu Alam. Eh? History. Hope.
Love.
Huh?
Love.
Love.
To meet everyone.
To meet everybody. What are you doing here? Bradford Sharif. Yeah.
Communication.
Communication.
Impact.
Huh?
Impact.
Impact.
Challenges.
Challenges.
Youth community. Youth
Youth community.
The role of NGOs in the emergency.
Very good.
Future.
Future.
I missed the question.
I missed a question. Okay.
Vision.
Vision.
Yeah.
Nia.
Future.
Future.
The youth.
The youth.
Please youth.
How about you?
Values.
Values.
Mistakes.
Mistakes. This is what you discuss when you box yourself in a rigid program. When you box yourself, all what you said is right, but you have to think outside the box. All what you've said been discussed many times before, hundreds of times. What's new? Our role is to create the new and to look for what's new. If we cannot create the new things, we have to look for the new development. Something that nobody have tried before, and we should be the pioneers of creating it and leading others. We cannot afford, after 40 years, to do what others have been doing for 10 or 20 years. What's been mentioned now is any 1 or 2 or 3 years old organization can put on the table. You can't. 40 years is the age of prophecy and prophethood. Most of the prophets, excluding Jesus alayhi salam, were at the age of maturity, especially Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So don't ask Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to do what others doing. Because Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a change maker, visionary, and reformer at the same time. So what we need to do when we are 40 is not to discuss, we know what other people are discussing, but to bring to the table something that make everybody else, what do you call it when you, in English, excited, amazed, glaring at you. Who was with me in South Africa?
Besides the South African.
The South African. Oh, the giraffe and the buffaloes and. I said South Africa. Allah العظيم ثلاث. Is your boss? You have got Kharababad and Bussibad, what do you call it? Anyway, we were discussing three things. The glaring, glowing glaze. What does it mean? And why did I say it in South Africa? And said it to whom? You know, you have to understand who is talking to you. Before anybody comes to talk to you, you have to read his mind to ask the question, which actually can click. But if you are just trying to listen to sweet nothing, you will be sleeping. Because the sweet will make you fat, the fatness will make you sleep. When you sleep, you have a dream or a nightmare or both. Huh? Where is it coming from? In the glaring, glazing, glowing, glaring, glowing, glazing, it is the sight that comes from the eyes of the children. When they look at you, their eyes and their gaze glow and glare, because they see in each and every one of you hope. Can we maintain it all the time by fulfilling what they need? This is the glaring, glowing glaze, the 3Gs syndrome. By the way, this was mentioned for somebody's sister from Canada. Where is Canada? Her name is Sizkin. She's Turkish Canadian. She's a teacher. Sizkin and I, and there's another one, lawyer from USA. I think named Sukaina or something like this. They made me to think seriously. And they had a message, heavy message from the children, actually there. They were not in South Africa. They were in South Africa or in Turkey, something. Not South Africa. Anyway. But anyway, what I'm going to talk today is about the melody of eternity. In Arabic was a movie called Lahn al-Khulud. The melody of eternity is composed, whether we join in composing or left behind. The melody of eternity has manhaj, program, created by the composer, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, giving to every creation of him, insects, birds, animals, air, water, sands, mountains, call it. And all of them following the same note to compose according to the syllabus or to the system. The only one who quite often does not compose and follow the note is us as human beings. But the rest are working according to the book to compose the melody of eternity. Every creation of Allah make tasbih. And the only exception is amongst us, because we make a system to try to change the system. We make or follow a new manhaj. And what we are facing now as I speak, the new manhaj or system which is being imposed on each and every one of us. Come and sit down here, brother. I love you.
I love you also.
No, I love you too. So, and that is the composition or the composing process on earth. You know, I want you to imagine, because I was writing, there's no paper here. And somebody bring this to me. One of them. This is more Anyone? No, no, I think the other one easier. And I want you to imagine that you went to a society. You went to a society. This is where you need to see the size of the kingdom of God and the size of the universe of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You imagine, I mentioned some of the creation of Allah. You imagine here every creation, from the insect, which sometimes cannot see because it's underneath the earth, to the dinosaur. And each one of them is holding an instrument and playing the music according to the note at the same time. And the note has been written differently with different languages to accommodate the understanding of every creation of God. And the only one who's breaking it is us. I'm not going to take you to development and relief and it's waste of time. They make us very busy. Firefighting. A problem here, problem here, problem here, problem here, problem here, everywhere. We wake up from Libya to Morocco to Yemen to Uyghur to no time to think. The job description, which does not allow you to think, will make you a robot and will make you a waste of time. And this is what you need to tell your boss: change the job description. Allow me to think. Allow me to connect, to produce. Because each and every donation you receive from international community, from government, is coated by culture, value, philosophy, and faith. You want it, you listen to me. And we do it because we have no time to think. The job description here, Brother Adnan and Brother Salah and Brother Wasim and others, has to be changed. You are not just little tools. You are not just an object. You have to think. You have to read. You have to connect. You have to dwell. And all this has to be made by you when you have the time. You know what the HR and the finance will tell you? It costs money. Yes, it costs money. You want to buy a Rolls Royce? Bentley? Yes. It costs money, but you can buy Fiat. Or you can buy Humar. What's Humar means? Donkey, and ride on it and carry on. It's your choice to have Humar or to have Gada. You know Gada? Urdu, which is monkey. And jump with the monkey. Or you have whatever you want. But a job without thinking is not developing the character of any one of us. Any one of us. I was hurt when I was traveling with someone very senior. And he told me, not him also, all of them, told me we can't scratch our hair. Don't have time to scratch our hair. You cannot be a director. Cannot be a CEO. Cannot be a senior manager if you don't have the time to think and to reflect and to read and to produce and to connect. First 2-3 years will be expensive, but the reward will be incredible when you create the system of thinking. Otherwise, you will be swallowing the things, the thoughts, and the idea and the philosophy of others, and you look like them. They have shadow, but you will never have any shadow. Because they are following their shadow, but you are not creating a shadow. The people can shadow you. They are creating a flow, but you cannot create a flow that people can follow your flow. Why I'm talking about the melody of eternity? Because the melody of eternity shows us how incredibly vast the universe is, that nobody can imagine how vast it is, and we still have doubt of the creator of the universe by other ideology and other philosophy and other culture and other history. In certain country, the rulers are changing the icons of the country, and they bought belly dancer. Call her the greatest mother in the country. Actress. I'm not against that. But I cannot forget the people who built the country, who stood up, gave their life in theology, in philosophy, in economy, in struggling. Like if I go to somebody like Omar al-Mukhtar in Libya and change him and put whatever it is, that doesn't work. It's not right. You want my money? You want my money? Take this. You know, the independent way of thinking is what we need after 40 years. Our communities in all the poor countries are very rich, but we make them feel that they are poor. Because each one of us, talking about myself, think that I have what they have. I have the knowledge. I have the money. What do you have? You are just an employee who's spending their money on your salaries and your income and your family. Shut up and keep quiet. You are their servant. And if you don't consider yourself as servants, you are a dead meat while you are living. Because if you become servants, if we rise to the level of being servant, this is a status not given to anyone. Try to rise or get elevated to be a servant. Try to rise to be elevated to become a servant. Try to rise to be elevated to become a servant. If they accept us as servants. This is the melody of eternity. Melody of eternity composed by three. You know, العازف بالعربي اللغة العربية. Is the one who huh? The composer is the one who writes or the one who what? Well, which one is bigger? The conductor is the big one? The composer is oh yeah, okay. So the composer. Three kinds of composer. You are on earth with the rest of the creation of Allah, صح? According to the same note. But after earth, there are two things. It's earth, E, and the two H. The same note, but better. You know, in the 2H, you know the 2H, hell and heaven. In heaven, angels will compose to let you to relax. And. But in hell, angels as well will compose to make me what? To make me what? The same, because they will remind us that we gave you this melody and you did not follow. Don't forget the origin of life, the origin of manhaj of life, which is the book, the only authentic book that we have and forever. Another point which I need to add to us as a proverb that Omar said, رضي الله عنه, تعلم العربية جزء من الدين. Learning the Arabic language is a part of religion. Say it again. تعلم العربية جزء من الدين. Learning the Arabic language is a part of religion. Shame on me to be an Arab who take it soft and call it Arabish. You see, we speak Arabish. What Arabish word you can say to me, brother Manhaj? Give me any Arabish word that you use when you do funny discussion. You, both of them. The Libyan and the Egyptian. ها؟ تقول ايه بالعربش؟
صليing.
ايه؟
صليing.
صليing. اتفضل. Anything else inventive? Inventive. صليing. ها يلا يلا بتبقى غربة. صلي ينج. يلا اديله. صليing. حفظينج.
It will be احفظing.
احفظنج. طب حلو. يلا. The Egyptian is ahead of you. It's حرام to make the Egyptian ahead of the Moroccan.
No, it's okay.
ها؟ انت مش مصرية؟ انتوا كلكم مصريين ولا ايه؟ وانت يا جدع انت؟
You just speak the Egyptian.
مصري كمان؟ الله العظيم ايه المصيبة دي؟ فرحانين انت. This is Arabic. We demean the language that Allah has chosen it for a book for humanity, for a teacher for humanity, for an essence of life for humanity. Arabic language is a living entity. Living. What they're calling احفظ ايه؟ احفظينج ايه؟ احفظينج. جوزنج ها؟ طلقنج. مش كده برضك؟ هقول ايه تاني والله يا غا وديتونا في داهية انتوا. To come back at the age of 40, you can't be like anybody else. You can't. And this is my message today. At the age of 40, we have to lead composing the melody of eternity. If the insects are doing it, why shouldn't I? If the insects, see, just trying to lower it down, are doing it, why shouldn't I do it? It's been there for billions of years. You want to be there with me if I go to heaven, or unfortunately, if I go to the other side. It's there. But the composer there, the angels of hell, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, or the angels of heaven. But the composer on earth is you. You know, this is your duty. We can't live without identity. We can't live without history. Can't live without culture. Can't live without philosophy. Can't live without value. Can't. And value is applicable behavior of the individual. I cannot give you a talk about value. Then I do something else. Whoever tells you value, go and read a book. Yes, I read a book to understand. But value is what you do for the community, for your family, and for yourself. Value is action. So we can't live without those five. And at the age of 40 years old, we have to do that. Working from home, for me, is absolute waste of time. Like it or not, it's entirely up to you and your bosses. It does not create culture. It does not create bonding. Does not create leadership. You tell me I will save the electricity money, I tell you yes, but you will never make me a leader. You will never, by letting me sitting at home and playing on a computer. Where is the cross-fertilization of knowledge, of experience, of character, of understanding the history, of feeling the agony of people sitting at home? This is a culture to make us always the time followers, relying on others. Resist it. It's not expensive. It's not expensive. Look at the people who spend their money on us. They don't work from home. They work every day, 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours. In Kenya, in Somalia, in Bangladesh, in Pakistan, and others. Don't colonize yourself by adopting characteristics or atmosphere that make me not. Make me a waste of time. In a few years' time, if I keep applying the work from home policy, I will be like, if I go outside to the community, I will not be able to interact with them. The distance between me and them will be huge. And this was an American movie by Hollywood. You know, the one who was Nicholson, what's his name, Nicholson? Huh? Jack Nicholson. Oh, no, it's Peter Sellers. Peter Sellers. So it's a British movie. He was actually in a house, but the house belonged to the landlord. The landlord died, and the man never went outside the house. And the man, when he died, everything was under control. You see, his name, Peter Sellers, was a top comedian in the 50s and 60s in UK. And when they told him, sir, he said, this is my house. I said, who are you? He did not have a place for him in the house because he was a servant. Then when he went out, he was shocked to see people walking in the street. Because they thought that the house is between the kitchen, the bedroom, and the television, and the sitting room. This was movie. The man died in the 60s or 70s. You know what he was taking with him? Sorry, not your telephone. He found two people are fighting. And he has the remote of the television. Trying to stop fighting or to change the channel. The children will look at him, what is this man doing? Funny, where did he come from? Because he was isolating himself in a room or in a house for years without being connected to the society. In everything. So I have my strong view on that because I want to see each and every one of you to become a credible leader who cannot afford after 40 years to become follower because we take the money from UN or EU or this or this. If I have a merit, they'll come and give me the fund. If I don't have, I'll follow them. So I'll be actually changing my character and my identity. I will stop to give you the chance to speak and to ask questions. No. I can stand till tomorrow. Don't worry about me. No, I want the check. And what? Croissant, huh? Yes, questions. Questions. Like the Egyptians. Huh? Yeah. Oh, رضا. وانا مالي ولا ايه ولا اسمها الاغنيه وانا مالي ومالك يا رضا.
Dr. Hani, mashallah, next year, it's 40 years of Islamic relief.
Yes,
And what started with, you always say started with, I think, a 5 pence donation now, mashallah, has transformed the lives of millions around the world. What would you like us, as like sort of the leaders in the partner offices, to take away and plan for the next 40 years?
Thank you. The first 40 years is the beginning of the second 40 years. And the second 40 years is the beginning of the third and the fourth and the fifth. You need to see how the journey started and how simple it was and it is. Don't complicate matters. Don't complicate matters. Focus on the people that you claim that you are serving. These are the source of pioneering, innovation. Pioneering and innovation is not in the big capitals. It is in the small capitals in Africa and Asia and others. Needs create pioneering. الحاجة أم الاختراع. Needs is the mother of pioneering and innovation. If you want to do it better, all the time, visit the fields. All the time, regularly, each and every one of you. And learn, to visit the field, to learn, to listen, to lower yourself to the high standard of the people there. And get yourself out of your ivory tower. This is, if you keep doing that internally, keep bringing young people and teach them. Keep involving the community that you are claiming to help them. And keep bringing them, listen to them. And consult them. Respect them. Because the third partner with us is Allah. You, them, and him. The three, if you are not if they are not happy with you, he will never be happy with you. No matter how much money you have. No matter. Don't ever, another point, count your growth by cash. Count your growth by impact. By the power of change. By the developing of the souls and the spirit of the people, not developing the bricks and the walls of things that you build. Build characters. Build future culture to protect them from colonization. Colonization and imperialism of humanitarian work. Up till now, we have 3 workshops with the diaspora from Syria, from Pakistan, you're one of them in the Pakistan one. And from yesterday was Somalia. The 3 of them said, we don't want any more humanitarian response fund to come to us. We can build our community. They will never let you build your community. You got it? And this is what we need to start the second 40 years, by understanding what to do, how to do, where to go. But not keep following the funding track. Thank you, Sister Rida. تفضلي. أيتها أنت من أسبانيا. Speak Spanish because I understand Spanish.
Vale.
Vale.
Tengo 2 preguntas.
Oh, yes.
I have 2 questions.
Yes.
The first one is, what do you think that we are doing that we are following and we are not innovating as a leaders, as a staff of Islamic Relief? The second one, I've been in Kenya this year, a long term, like 2 months, and when I've been there in some projects, I saw that we are been there a lot of years, and I felt like we are making the people being dependent of us and not changing their lives. That made me think that sometimes we are going for numbers and we're not going for changing their lives. Could we do another systems? I think another way to help, maybe to change lives, because actually we are not changing their lives.
So I'll answer the second question till you to go to the first one. Unfortunately, the easiest thing is to feed. Okay, is to maybe build a house or something like this, or just make a project. I want to dig a deep well, whatever. That's the easiest. The most difficult is to educate and to empower and build community and build economy of the community. I think Islamic Leaf IPD has to understand that we need to educate our donor because you are the communicator, isn't it? They are the communication. We have to educate our donors, okay, that actually a pound or a dollar or a penny in empowerment of community is far more better than giving me £100 or $100 for handout or doing the traditional thing that everybody else is doing. Do we measure, as you said, the impact of these projects in Kenya, or just keep doing it? Because the donor said, I give you money for water. Well, we dig the deep well, it's not bad, it's good. But do we know how to create a water system in a village, including agriculture, including drinking water, all these sort of things, to impact on the community and to be sustainable? Are we still following the philosophy of project implementation or program? Big difference between program and project. Program made out of many projects, which including water, sanitation, health, education, and others. This needs sustainability. You as communicators have to educate our donors to go for the longer term, not for the shorter term. You have, and this is the chance we need to get this fund, which called non-restricted fund, and educate them. If you fail to do that, the IPD will do the same thing because they won't have the money to implement projects. It is in your hand to try to change the philosophy of thinking of your donors. This is now another one. Why should I rely on 5 or 6 or 7 partners? And this discussion was between me and brother Adnan, and this was an invention from Pakistan, in Baluchistan, when Umair and I, in 2018, it was my first visit to Baluchistan after many years. And I discovered that a lot of great projects, very cheap, but not market. And when it comes to you, because the project officer, it's not going to suit our donor base. You have to create, I'll say it with respect, Brother Adnan. Thank you for asking this question, which making me more excited than I am always excited. Save the money. Thank you. I wanted Adnan to make a catalog, not catalog for USA, not catalog for UK, not catalog for Canada. Catalog for the whole organization. All right? Clear? In each part of it, country, city, and project name and budget. Don't rely on you only, because sometimes it become Something in the neck? Huh? Anyway, quite often fundraisers block the way forward. For an officer, I say, no, we don't want this one. I don't want you to donate to me as 5 or 6 or 7 partners only. I have 1.8 billion individuals that I can reach. Coming back to catch 22, oh, we don't have money for this. And the finance will tell you what? Oh, I've got all this paperwork for $5,000, $10,000. Get the intern to do this for you. Create a system to enable you, sister, to fundraise from the universe, not only from the 5 or 6 offices. I kept saying this, and they believe in it. Try it. Why I should rely on Canada and keep begging you to give me money, or keep begging USA to give me money? What will happen? I'll tell you something. What will happen if we repeat the same thing which happened to France before? صح? What will happen? I lose 1, I lose 2, so I'll be left doing nothing. If I don't think ahead about having a catalog to promote, and all of you should agree upon that. It's not to compete with you. No American donor will give money to UK because of tax purposes. Or no UK donor will give money to France because of tax purposes. It costs money, needs effort. This is the answer of the second question. Say the first question again, because it was very deep and I could not be able to swim to get it.
So I think you answered it. Yes,
I answered it?
Yeah.
Both of them?
Yeah.
Allahu Akbar. Narai Takbir. Narai Risala. Why ya Rasulullah? Alhamdulillah. Anybody else?
Can you repeat? I didn't got what you mean with don't count on.
You know, do you go to Amazon
Yes.
to do some shopping?
Yeah.
This is why I want you to do Amazon
On a global scale. Or
on Islamic
I like
projects.
it. Okay, Amazon is.
You like it? Okay. Hazab, give me the money.
No problem.
No problem. Alhamdulillah. We won. Germany is with us. Huh? Hold here. Hold. America. Islamic Relief Amazon. Switzerland.
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course. Oh, where from? From the moon? Turkey, Islamic Relief Amazon. Canada, Islamic Relief Amazon. Always Amazon? Alhamdulillah. Yes. Any other questions? I'm headed till tomorrow. Yes, Sister Mimi. لا مريم كلمي كده وطلعي صوتك لجلجي. Mimi, I was traveling with her one day and she asked me one question, made me to write a paper of 30 pages. The question was, what will happen when the organization matures? I told her 2 things in Arabic. It will become a swamp led by a sticky, thick individual like myself. تتحول إلى مستنقع تدار بمستنطع. عارف مستنطع والمستنقع؟ يعني once you become stable, everybody will relax because we have our salary coming every month. There's no innovation. That's right, sister. Don't travel with me anymore and don't ask me any question. She make me, I deliver 3 or 4 talks.
Khalas, I can't ask the question?
No.
One of the ideas this morning was talking about tarbiyah and also the impact that Islamic Relief used to have on giving back to the communities.
Yes.
My question is how within our own communities, within Islamic Relief, so our own teams
The community
here,
of Islamic Relief.
yes, so our own teams here, how can we ensure that we are guiding each other and pushing each other for better through tarbiyah methods from an Islamic perspective?
All right. You have to have regular meeting together. And this is a challenge because the policy now is you work from home. In the good old days, we used to have a weekly meeting because there's not many people as you are today. Be very realistic. But we used to have every week a meeting. Then a monthly meeting for everybody. You have to exchange the views, the knowledge. Tarbiyah is not just a lecture. It's not just a reminder. It's not just khutbah. It is a part of tarbiyah. Tarbiyah when you listen to me and see me as a role model. Tarbiyah in the behavior of your boss. And the good old days, I used to be a very bad manager. Is that right, brother Adnan? Thank you for endorsing it. Huh? Yeah. But alhamdulillah, I changed it. And I become less painful now. I was very painful. Alhamdulillah, it was not at your time. Now, in spite of the fact you listen to my beautiful voice, but I'm far more less painful. And you ask your father as well. And who else here from the good old days? No, nobody. Tarbiyah is role modeling. Tarbiyah is coming to you as a mission of the value of the character of your leader. Tarbiyah could become to us from Muslims and non-Muslims in their behavior. Because we have certain values for the community. And most of the Islamic values are common for everybody else. You might find more dedicated non-Muslim individual working with Islamic life than Muslim individual. So tarbiyah is not one size fits all. Tarbiyah is not just a syllabus. It's a behavior. It's a behavior of the individual. And here, tarbiyah will stay forever. Tarbiyah when we listen to the people who are less than us. Whether they are young people or they are poor people from underdeveloped countries. This is tarbiyah. The process of how to listen and how to wait that could be explained to you and how to understand what they say. Sister, tarbiyah is not halaqah. It's not halaqah. Halaqah is a part of it. But how many halaqah in the halaqah of tarbiyah? How many circle in the circle of tarbiyah? This is tarbiyah. That's why Prophet ﷺ كان قرآنا يمشي على الأرض. كان قرآنا يمشي على الأرض. He was a walking Quran on earth. He was murabbi by action, not murabbi by speeches. Thank you, Sister Maryam. All the people who ask were sisters. Brothers, there's no brothers here, isn't it? I can't see brothers here. Oh, yes, I can see them, but actually they are shy. Yes, I'm here till tomorrow. Yes, sister. Yeah. Pleasure.
Introduce yourself as well, inshallah.
Okay. So I'm Hiba from IR Albania.
Hiba.
Yes.
Another Hiba.
Yeah, there are two Hibas.
And she's from Pakistan.
Yes.
وانت originally?
Tunis.
Tunisia ممكن Hiba Arabic name.
Yeah.
But Pakistan was just Bismillah mashallah. how an Arab name jumped to Pakistan. But she has a story about her father. Anyway, don't tell your mother, huh? Go on.
So my question is about hybrid offices.
Hybrid office.
Yeah, I see hybrid offices as an attempt from Islamic Relief to empower the field offices and turn it into, like, make them have an income generation. Do you think that other field offices can have the same future?
Can you explain to us what do you mean by hybrid offices?
They do field work, they implement projects from the money that we get from...
Then hybrid offices. What
Yeah,
do you mean by that?
But at the same time, they do local fundraising, like both. Like, Like,
Oh, would you call it hybrid?
I
I
don't
thought
know.
hybrid is when you do some time from
Oh,
work
no,
from
no, no,
home
no,
and
no, no,
some
no,
time
no.
from.
No, no.
See,
That's hybrid working. Yeah.
Yeah. But hybrid,
you see, talking about the language.
yeah. So hybrid office, local fundraising in the same office that there is field work.
Yeah,
You know?
you have to make every field office a fundraising office, and this is not a new thing that you are discovering now on the 2023. It was discussed at the time when Jangir was UK manager. What year was he UK manager? Adnan?
2006,
Huh?
2006.
Yeah, nearly 16 years ago. And we wanted to make a case study on Pakistan, okay, at that time. But you know what? There was actually the fight between who should be running, between officers.
That's still happening now.
All right, okay, cool down. Who should be in charge? Is it IPD or it is others? Shouldn't be this way. If it's an independent entity, it has to be built. Because today I give you 100% admin cost. Maybe in few years' time, it will be 0%. And all what you raise will be complemented for me as to do it for your projects. The other thing is, we kept, long time ago, because I left 2008, we kept asking to do this kind of local registration and follow the model of the family of Red Cross and Red Crescent, where the international office have an office inside the local organization to monitor its expenditure. This is what the family of Red Cross and Red Crescent are doing. If they want to send fund to Iraq, fine, Iraq, Red Crescent Society will give them an office so they can sit there and monitor their expenditure. Okay. This kind of thinking will empower definitely all the local organizations. One time we have to think about we should not implement anymore. What we need to do, sister, is I go back to my acronym, which I mentioned it to MCB, and they were actually to do the FAT theory. And they do the KISS theory. FAT means Islamic Relief in the future should do fundraise because have an access for fund, should advocate because the local offices cannot advocate for themselves because they don't have the access of the international community, and should do the training and capacity building. And we should do this to all international organizations, not only Islamic Relief. Enough is enough coming by a parachute and jumping on the ground. The local, as partners, they do that for you. Knowledge based, because they have it. All my knowledge come from Lahore, from Islamabad, from Bengal, and others. Have the innovative ways. Most of the innovation does not come from here, come from there. Sustainable solution. So I give you the fat. You give me that. This has to be the partnership. But coming back, Brother David, on the catalog, Brother Adnan, I can't keep saying it anymore. I was in a meeting, it was MCF 2 days ago, and the board of MCF, and we're talking about what's next. And it's very pity to keep saying the same thing that I've been saying years and years. And Tufail said, Mr. So-and-so, even before I started joining the humanitarian work, has been saying, build young leadership. Otherwise, your mosques will be sold tomorrow in the market like any other worship places. With MCB, which is Muslim Council of Britain, like MAC or BAC or whatever they call them in America and others, MAC and MAS and others. If you keep building mosques as bricks, don't build people, this mosque will be sold in the market one day. And some of these worshiping places, it was full with youth 20, 30 years ago. Now this, where are they? We're doing the same. And our donors only giving money to put stones, not to create brains. And brains of men and women, young women and young men. And this is a challenge. Challenge for Islamic Leaf, challenge for us. Get outside and don't be afraid. America or UK or France or others of having the catalog that I will steal your donor. No donor will give money to a foreign organization because of tax purposes. But look at the dead wood, Brother Adnan. Look at a lot of dead wood in most of the organizations. Because of what she told me a year ago when we traveled together, then when the organization becomes stable, I said in Arabic, تصبح مستنقع يديره مستنطعون. والمستنطع هو اللزج الغبي الكسلان الذي يعين من حوله مجموعة من المستنطعين. It become a swamp run by sticky, thick, lazy. What do you call it? I didn't have 4 or 5 things for them. But مستنطع يدير and every مستنطع, every sticky man or a woman will bring a sticky man and woman. Then at the end of the day, each department will become an isolated aisle. I'll tell you something. Before I go to the second question, I know that you stood up. That means that I have to sit down. A week or 2 weeks ago, listen to this, brother. Somebody met somebody else in front of Calamari, which is opposite the restaurant. And direct to another. I've seen you somewhere. I've seen you somewhere. Who are you? I work for Islamic Leaf. Who are you? Oh, I work for Islamic Leaf. Where do you work? In this floor. Where do you work? In this floor. How old have been there? 20 years. I will have been there 5, 6 years. This is the shocking news. This is not only shocking, it's killing news. This is devastating news. The 2 people, between them is one ceiling, and they have not seen one another for 5 years. And this is definitely proved was Sister Maryam was pushing me to the corner last year, to the edge of the cliff, and to me, get out! 2 people in the same organization do not know that they are working in the same organization, and they are not United Nations. I've got maybe multi-story building in New York and others. You got the message? You got the message, Brother Adnan? I love you. Next question.
I have a question. It's like,
Oh my God, the Turkish are coming.
I understand your point. After 40 years, we need to evaluate the approach that we have currently and so far, and then we need to look forward.
Yes, sister. Look forward, yeah.
So I'm actually studying organizations.
Very good, very good.
My PhD thesis is like on strategy, and the research says there are, of course, many ways for the organizations to fail.
Yes.
But most of them is like because they cannot catch the current trends. This is the one that we already know, but the other is like the organization as well. Like we are always focusing on the products and projects and then what we can do, but organization itself is also a product. We also need to, I think, evaluate is that way. What I mean as the organization is like the employees, like you said, the training is important, the skills is important, and to get updated all the time is of course important, but the processes, the relationships, actually, it's kind of since I am new to the organization, I might not follow about the current work within the organization, like worldwide. But I'm curious if we are also planning to re-engineer the processes. Since I understand, from my observation is what it was started as a field organization, we try to stick that and we try to add on top of it and we grow like that. And now we have a change mindset. We believe we need to convert to field offices, and that mindset, I think there is a need to evaluate the processes again in terms of fundraising mindset. So I'm curious about your opinion on that.
Okay.
So,
Thank you. How many papers, research papers, that were produced over the last 20 years and had an impact on government decision or UN? If we keep spending money only on projects and fundraising and ignore research, proper research, which can create the impact, we'll never be able to change the regulatory system. Because regulation comes to us by research made by other organizations, whether Oxfam, Save the Children, the big ones. They sit down together and said, okay, let us talk about the children's rights. Let's talk about women's rights. Let's talk about employment, empowerment, all these kind of things. And they gave it to government. And they gave it to UN. They adopt it. And we'll follow. If we don't invest in research, I say it again, in research, we'll never be able to change the regulation of the regulator. In Muslim Child's Forum, we're discussing the de-risking. When we're trying to get the organization to make a case study on their cases, and we know them, I know them, Fadi knows them, they never come to the meeting and admit that they have a problem with the bank. You know why? Because they are scared that the public will know and they won't give them money. We know organizations have 70 or 80 million pounds in their bank account. They cannot transfer it outside UK. But they don't admit that. If we don't come and become transparent, we cannot change the regulation of the regulator. It is us to take the lead. You know what, sister? Because I've been visiting organization which is non-Islamic relief. Wallahi, then wallahi, they want to be like Islamic relief. Even the consultants came to them, I will train you to become like Islamic relief. But Islamic relief has to understand that it is the leader of the sector to bring everybody together. You remember, brother, but come next to me, because he's a handsome man and he's always having a brilliant idea. You remember when we went to this conference, you and me?
Yes. Which one?
The one which I said we did this 20 years ago. Don't mention the name of the organization. Yeah. You know, when we went to tell them about this big conference and what they were doing. Don't mention the name.
Which conference talk?
وقف الواقفين.
Oh, okay. We don't mention the name of the organization.
I thought I whispered.
We're transparent.
No.
It was an organization. They were showing the work that they were doing across the world, and they invited the medical fraternity, including medical professionals and medical students, to attend this conference. And they had people, particularly doctors, that they had invited to go onto their field trips with the organization to share anecdotal stories of their experience in the field. And this, obviously stirring a lot of emotions, because a lot of the stories, personal stories and accounts of their involvement. But the objective was also to give back to it was a form of capacity building and training for future medical professionals.
Okay, Karen, I gave you the chance. You don't have.
I'm not somebody of many words, Doctor.
Okay. I think what he said, Brother Muhammad, Brother Yusuf, Yusuf, we have been doing this 20 years ago. Okay? And the two organizations are the same city, or not same city, at same area. The discussion ended. Why didn't we approach the organization to elevate the standard? This is your role as a leader. If Yusuf said we've been doing it 20 years ago, and they're still doing it after 20 years, what's your role as a South African organization, or Italian organization, or Spanish organization, to transfer the technology of knowledge, not to withhold it to your territory? This is leadership. Is it right? Remember, Brother Muhammad, Yusuf? This was actually a part of our role as leaders. So when, over the last few weeks, I visited maybe 4 or 5 organizations. All of them looking up at you, but never look down at them. Never look down at them. Look at them as partners, as colleagues, as somebody that we need to learn from them. Inshallah. I can see the boss is behind me, wants to implement the death sentence. Is it over?
I'm not saying nothing, you continue, inshallah.
Continue. Why are you standing behind me? He's scaring me. عامل زي الشبح. Allah. Yes, brothers. Alhamdulillah, at least one brother spoke. انت قاعد تشرب ما فيش كلام كده يعني خلاص ادينا بق كده. بسم الله ما فيش الا البنات يعني الله العظيم 3. تفضلي انت هلا؟
آلاء.
وانا طب آلاء فاي آلاء ربكم تكذبان. ممكن اخذ قطمه؟
تفضل.
اكيد.
تفضل.
طول السؤال.
Okay. So it's linked to what you were talking about before. So when an organization becomes stable and becomes mustanqa, led by mustanta, so what is the first step to take to change that situation, and how to make sure that in changing that situation you still are in a stability, just
I think that both you and Mariam look the same. Have the same brain. I think the process of you as a leader in the organization has to be there as a part of your job description. Number 1, because we bought this in a very long document. Unfortunately, the talks were delivered in Arabic, but I'm seeing if it's in English, I'll send you a copy. This leader, like you, or like any one of you, his or her duty is to train young people while he or she in the office. To be a part of your job description, you are the director now. Your contract is 5 years. Within these 5 years, minimum 5 young people, maximum 10 young people to be trained as leaders. You responsibility. That's why I want them to change the job description of the directors and the others. They have the time to sit down with you. Whether those young people are volunteers or young officers come to the organization. This is number 1. Number 2, fixed succession planning. Nobody should be there forever. Maybe I get the CEO for 3-4 years or 5 years twice. And he will know or she will know that I have another term. Within just 5 to 10 years, I will find myself doing something else. So I know that my position is there for term. Whether I'm a CEO or a president or a chairman or whatever it is. This is number 2. Number 3, keep learning from the people who started the organization a long time ago. Get them a consultant state, not consultant paid, yani, advisor status. Because you can't ignore the history. If you don't know your history, you cannot build, you don't understand the current presence, and you will never be able to make the future. Get them to sit down and tell the young people how it has been done. When we had no offices, no budget, no employees, nothing. This is the third point. Number 4, open to the community and let the community believe that they are a part of you and you are a part of them. So the exchange of news and information will go both sides. Be the listening organization. Be the listening organization. Okay? And this is actually how, by making people who are modest, who have time to talk to the community, to connect with the community. In good old days, Sister Ala, in the first 5 years, we never stayed in a hotel. Either in mosques overnight, maybe more than 5 years, or in the houses of the volunteers. Even I remember Jangir and Anwar, before your time, were sleeping every other day in the house of a volunteer in different state. So even the trustees at that time, we used to put them in, the old building, the first floor, on the floor with sleeping bag. If you want to have a joke, go and text Sheikh Assam in Turkey. Said the most that he was just blaming me, that Dr. Hani get us is chicken wings. When we travel all the way from Sudan to have breakfast, full breakfast, and chicken wing in the afternoon, what is this? Said, this is it. But those trustees put the impression and the impact. Keep this story going on to try to create this kind of culture. Write your own history. But don't write to us by one man who does not know how the history was created. Get it as a process when you involve every office and every individual to put his experience or her experience on the table, so become encyclopedia of information. Then after that, you can do whatever you want with the information. And as I said before, young men and young women should be a part and parcel of the organization from the very beginning. Succession planning is very important as well. Okay?
Allah accept from you. Allah bless you. Allah keep you healthy, inshallah, and keep using you in His way. Allahumma ameen.
Ameen.
Okay, what we're going to do now, inshallah, Sheikh is with us. We're going to go outside here.